কেউ বলে যে পয়জন করে দিয়ে।
And the ISKCON leaders are toast. Even those who were not directly involved in Srila Prabhupada's poisoning, they are all as responsible now for aiding and abetting, as accessory after the fact, participating in the cover-up. They have all failed the devotees and failed Srila Prabhupada.
That is my only way. That at the last day, don't torture me and put to death.
A number of times he would say, can you give me medicine? Please give me medicine that will allow me to disappear now. I want to die peacefully. Let me die peacefully. We could have done that. We could have done that. We could have done that.
Devotees have been seriously misled that there is only some indecipherable whispers and some talk of medicine that was like poison. But this mischaracterization is due to the stone-hearted and treacherous cover-up engineered by ISKCON's top misleaders. They even issued an official statement that there was no evidence at all to support the idea that Srila Prabhupada was poisoned. Krsna Maharaj, he even laughed at the idea in an online video.
Is it true that Srila Prabhupada was poisoned? I think it is not. Then how the story came out?
All right. It is not true that Prabhupada was poisoned. I was one of the people who was investigating whether Prabhupada was poisoned or not. And we did a thorough investigation. We did a hair analysis because people had hair of Srila Prabhupada from the final days. And hair can actually show whether or not someone has taken any poison within the last year. You understand? With a hair analysis. Hair analysis is the best thing.
They have adulterated Srila Prabhupada's society into a corrupted culture of absolute authority over an unthinking membership who is repressed, paid off in position, salary, and prestige, who never dare to question the official institutional doctrines. Many devotees actually believe that their spiritual lives will be ruined if they even look at the evidence that Srila Prabhupada was poisoned. Outrageous how their spiritual lives have been so restricted by tyranny. Actually, by bad association with poisoners and their supporters, one's spiritual life will be seriously impaired. It is highly advisable to give up their bad association. There is so much evidence that Srila Prabhupada was poisoned that when it was all compiled, it came to 828 pages and 108 chapters. Kill Guru, Become Guru, Book 1, The Poisoning of Srila Prabhupada's Body, is now available online for free download. Let's look at Srila Prabhupada's medical or physical symptoms. They mostly fit in with Srila Prabhupada's diabetes and kidney disease, which up to 1977 were not very advanced. His diabetes was non-insulin dependent, and his dropsy or swelling of extremities was only occasional. But we should know that cadmium poisoning specifically causes and exacerbates diabetes and kidney disease, both of which dramatically worsened during the 1977 poisoning. And also, there was a distinct group of symptoms that Srila Prabhupada exhibited, which are not typical to either diabetes or kidney disease, but are unique to cadmium poisoning. These are the so-called mystery symptoms described in chapter 38. Four of the primary mystery symptoms are: 1. Extreme photophobia, or aversion to light. That's why Srila Prabhupada was always wearing dark sunglasses and had the light turned off in his room. 2. Constant and heavy mucus. 3. Constant heavy cough and hoarse voice. And 4. Constant bronchitis and rhinitis. The cadmium hair tests in 2002 and 2005 with Dr. Morris at the Missouri University Research Reactor have now proven as a scientific fact that Srila Prabhupada was poisoned with cadmium at about 250 times above average normal levels. 3 whispers, or low-volume speech units, have been forensically certified by many audio forensic laboratories to be the caretakers speaking about maliciously poisoning Srila Prabhupada, who also said he thought he was being homicidally poisoned as well. All his 77 caretakers discussed at length about poisoning as murder. There is also much more confirming evidence. Cadmium poisoning is very difficult to detect. About 35 doctors, Babas and Kavirajas, came and went during Srila Prabhupada's last 8 months, all with different diagnoses of his medical problem. If there had been proper medical tests and qualified doctors employed, the cadmium poisoning might have been discovered in time. That's why Tamal and company constantly rejected one doctor after another. Each treatment program was sabotaged by further poisoning, which was then blamed on the new doctor and his medicine. This is found in chapter 40, the rejection of proper medical care. We note that when Tamal had kidney cancer and Jayapataka had a massive stroke, what did they do? Did they consult back alley Kavirajas like they did for Srila Prabhupada and reject qualified doctors like Kurana, Ghosh, and Gopal? No. They spent hundreds of thousands on the very best of doctors and hospitals, something Srila Prabhupada was denied.
One example after another that these hospitals, they're simply meant to kill, not to save life. I mean, I don't think we have any faith either in them, Srila Prabhupada. I said, supposing someone threatens us with our life, that we will kill you if you don't let us take your Guru Maharaj to the hospital, still we will not let them take you. Your order is our business to follow, even at the risk of our life. But we're not going to take you to the hospital under any condition. Neither we have, not only is it your order, but we also see absolutely no benefit from these hospitals. I mean, your order is sufficient, but apart from that, also from our own limited intelligence, we also see that these hospitals are condemned. These doctors are blind, these allopathic doctors.
And Tamal even rejected one of the better Kavirajas over a matter of 20 rupees. There was actually a urine analysis test done by Banamali Kaviraj in late October of 77. He had been asked to return to Srila Prabhupada's care, and 2 ISKCON devotees brought a Dabur honey bottle with Srila Prabhupada's urine to his dispensary in Vrindavan. The son, Braj Dulal Goswami, who was 17 years old at the time, in 2005 testified on national Indian television how he witnessed his father 3 times mixing Ayurvedic powders with Prabhupada's urine, each time separating into layers of various colors. Banamali declared, "This is poison. The body is rotting. No one can tell. For this there is no cure, so I will not treat him." This is in chapter 80.
श्रीला प्रभुपद का इलाज कर रहे आयुर्वेद डॉक्टर कविराज बोनामाली को भी श्रीला प्रभुपद की मौत से तकरीबन 20 दिन पहले उनके यूरिन सैंपल में जहर के कुछ लक्षण नजर आए थे, जिसे देखकर कविराज बोनामाली ने श्रीला प्रभुपद का इलाज करने से इनकार कर दिया था।
हमसे उन्होंने कहा, देखो ये उन लोगों से देखो, इसमें ये 3 लेयर जो है, ये रिंग जो है, एक तो ये बोन मैरो और ये ब्लड और ये बोन का चूरा, हड्डी, ये 3 चीजें, इसमें 3 चीजें हैं। ये जो है, ये होता कब है? ये होता है ये स्लो पॉइजन अगर किसी को किया जाए तो नॉर्मल डेथ आदमी की होगी, किसी को पता भी नहीं चलता क्या किया नहीं किया। स्लो पॉइजन ऐसा होता है और काफी दिन से ये चल रहा है, जिसके कारण से ये जो है ये धीरे धीरे गल के ये जो।
Also, Srila Prabhupada's last Kaviraj, Damodar Shastriji, also believed that Srila Prabhupada was poisoned. This is confirmed by his son, Dr. Rakesh Sharma, in Calcutta, in chapter 82. We have previously discussed how the prime suspects, namely Tamal Bhaktachru and Jayapataka Swamis, all orchestrated a phony investigation to clear their own names with a book of lies, fraud, and deceitful denials. They thus cleverly sidelined and upstaged their own honest investigator, Balavanta Das. The treacherous GBC cover-up of the poisoning evidence is unraveled in 10 chapters of our new book. They utilized all the dark arts of mundane politics and even banned any further discussion of the matter. Why? Because everything they have is mortally threatened by this truth. Their criminal cover-up itself amounts to another piece of evidence that Srila Prabhupada was poisoned, as they have chosen the dark side by denying the truth and protecting the poisoners amongst them. They say, what difference does it make? Don't disturb us. It was so long ago. Srila Prabhupada should not be taken seriously. Thus the GBC has taken the side of evil, the side of Srila Prabhupada's poisoners. So, how do we know that some of Srila Prabhupada's senior disciples poisoned him with heavy metals? Because there's so much evidence to this effect. The new book has 25 chapters on the suspects, which reveal a very different picture than that all of them were always loving disciples. Tamal is thoroughly documented as the most materially ambitious of all of them, very intent on becoming the next sole Acharya and leader of ISKCON. He was responsible for hundreds of missing tapes, concealing from us many letters and instructions from Srila Prabhupada. We put Tamal on trial with this evidence and found him guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, as any jury would. He recorded an interview days after Srila Prabhupada's departure, claiming that he was asked repeatedly by Srila Prabhupada for medicine, or was it poison, to die now. How preposterous an excuse for the poisoning.
Can you give me medicine? Please give me medicine that will allow me to disappear now. I want to die peacefully. Let me die peacefully.
Tamal may have departed, but the other poisoners remain. Several persons were whispering about the poisoning. About giving medicine for Srila Prabhupada to die, Tamal said, we could have done that, but he was not alone. With diplomacy and politics, Tamal made many allies. 3 of them, Bhakti Charu, Jayapataka, and Tamal, organized their whitewash cover-up of the poison evidence in 2000. And Tamal was very, very close to Bhakti Charu and Bhavananda. The poisoners had the motive, the means, and the opportunity, and they gained enormously from Srila Prabhupada's early departure. Tamal and Bhakti Charu handled all the food and the medicines. Bhakti Charu emphatically defended that if there was a poisoning, it must have been him. And now we do know that there was a poisoning. Tamal was not alone in poisoning Srila Prabhupada. A group of poisoners conspired and hijacked the leadership of ISKCON, and they are still there today, 40 years later. In the months since we have announced the findings of catastrophic massive cadmium poisoning by the Truth Committee's private investigation, ISKCON and its leaders have not responded at all. Nothing. But what can they say anyway? Their bucket of denials is now empty. How does one refute solid scientific proof? Many ISKCON leaders either know about or accept the fact of Srila Prabhupada's poisoning, but they have all sold their soul to the poisoners in exchange for their positions and benefits. Such weakness. This is similar to Bhishma's and Drona's silence when Draupadi was disrobed. Haters and abettors, deniers of the truth, complicit after the fact in the crime of the millennium. Dear GBC and all those in ISKCON, what is the use of your oaths, your positions, your tilak, your dhotis, your saris, or your very life, if you are in bed with those who poisoned Srila Prabhupada? All for some pieces of broken glass or the illusion of spiritual leadership? Break loose of your complicity and be loyal to Srila Prabhupada. Find out the poisoners and remove them. We challenge the entire ISKCON leadership to publicly acknowledge that Srila Prabhupada was poisoned, then to deeply repent your cover-up of this truth, to admit you are disqualified to lead Srila Prabhupada's institution, and then resign honorably. The sooner, the better. ISKCON has been controlled for 40 years by those who poisoned Srila Prabhupada. And that was not the end of their mischief. They and their successors then destroyed what Srila Prabhupada struggled so hard to create. They have poisoned Srila Prabhupada's sacred books with endless, unnecessary, and unauthorized changes to spoil these transcendental literatures so they no longer even sound like Srila Prabhupada, what to speak of the changed meanings and purports. They allowed and even were part of a culture of child and sex abuse that still has not been cleaned up. They changed the deity worship. They introduced something called reinitiation. They posed as Diksha gurus while behaving like perverts and false prophets, trying to be great religious innovators. They endorse mission drift and financial unaccountability. Where does the money go? And their trail of lies, deviations, corruption, and disobedience to Srila Prabhupada's clear instructions would fill an encyclopedia. They tried to fool us with a shift from absolute zonal acharyas to an absolute elite and unelected GBC, which is totally politically corrupt. Kali Chelas control ISKCON. They have poisoned Srila Prabhupada's mission in so many ways that even 50 chapters in Book 2, the poisoning of Srila Prabhupada's mission, is not enough to cover them all. Srila Prabhupada's poisoners still plunder ISKCON and continue to corrupt the Hare Krishna movement with each passing day, while we have stood by and watched. Now that Srila Prabhupada's poisoning has been proven completely, finally, and conclusively, how can honest and faithful followers of Srila Prabhupada leave his hijacked mission in the hands of his poisoners? The logical conclusion is that everything that has transpired since Srila Prabhupada's departure was done by the poisoners, and thus it's all null and void, illegitimate, bogus, and corrupt, and it must all be rolled back to square one so we can properly start over without these poisoners and their poisons. Their tyranny must end, and that can only happen if those who care for Srila Prabhupada and want his mission to be restored end their silence or complicity and take their stand against the evil that has invaded the Hare Krishna movement. Poisoning Srila Prabhupada is evil. The poisoners took over ISKCON. The poisoning is now exposed as the truth. So faithful disciples of Srila Prabhupada must now rescue his divine mission. Sita is being held captive by Ravan.
Srila Prabhupada, can you tell us why you want to go on the Parikrama?
This seems like suicide, Srila Prabhupada. This program. It seems to some of us like it's suicidal.
And this is also suicide.
Prabhupada said, and this is also suicide. Now you have to choose which suicide. Now you have to choose which suicide. Now you have to choose which suicide.
Ravan will kill, and Ram will kill. Better to be killed by Ram. That Marichi, if he does not go to mislead Sita, he will be killed by Ram. And if he goes, he will be killed by Rama.
Each of us must now consider what we should do to rescue Srila Prabhupada's mission from the Ravanas who poisoned Srila Prabhupada. And if this does not motivate us, we must all be dead stones. But we won't hold our breath, waiting for any sanity to manifest in the corrupted institution. Pretty hopeless. We call instead upon the devotees everywhere to remove the ISKCON leadership and start over, as though it were the day after Srila Prabhupada's departure. No more tyranny, ambitious hijackers, endless deviations, unaccountability, money siphoned off into private Swiss bank accounts, and aspiring gurus campaigning and colluding for vote approvals. Time to clean house. Time for civil disobedience. With open istagostis. No repression. Don't worry what they say. Meet and discuss. Elect new leaders who do have the backbone to confront the full ramifications and truth of Srila Prabhupada's being poisoned by a group of senior men. Find out these poisoners and their colluders and expel them forever. Sent either to jail or exile in the Sahara Desert. Their offenses are unforgivable. We reject the Ravana poisoners' lies, all their concocted policies and defective doctrines, which enabled their poisoning, their takeover, and their rape of Prabhupada's followers. You, the general devotees, have the real power to end this. It is time to awaken. Stand up against the poisoners and their corruption. Stand up for Srila Prabhupada and to restore his divine mission to rescue the fallen souls. Don't be afraid of them. Put your name on the list and out in the open as those who want a new start. Do not allow their imposition of material considerations upon us to silence us any longer. Make your commitment to Srila Prabhupada by discarding apathy, silence, and all cooperation with Srila Prabhupada's poisoners. It's back to square one. Start over with only Srila Prabhupada. The Hare Krishna movement needs a total reset. The present GBC's authority is hereby revoked due to their corruption and failures, not least of which is their harboring of Srila Prabhupada's poisoners in their own ranks to this very day. Things are way off track and must be put right again. This begins at the local level. Wherever there are those with gratitude to Srila Prabhupada, come together, discuss, study the facts, the issues, and the truth. Decide your own future with your own intelligence according to Srila Prabhupada's teachings. One thing is for sure, Srila Prabhupada did not want a tyrannical bureaucracy or an ISKCON like it has evolved today. The era of the poisoners must come to an end, and in this there can be no compromise. Those who, after everything, still insist on following the poisoners and their poisonous doctrines may do so, but separately, not in Srila Prabhupada's institution. ISKCON must be restored to Srila Prabhupada, to his standards, his instructions, and his unchanged books. We have to determine by study, open discussion, and debate what it is that Srila Prabhupada wanted us to do after his departure. We reject what we've been told by the poisoners. Prabhupada is calling out for your help in rescuing his mission from the Ravana poisoners. Those who can hear him, the time for a spiritual revolution has arrived.
You have come forward to help me. I shall request you all that I shall go away, but you shall leave. Don't give up pushing on this movement, and you will be blessed by Lord Chaitanya and His divine grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. Thank you very much.
Suppose if I am here and somebody kills me, and if you do not protest, is it a very good business? Huh? People will be surprised that so many disciples are there and this man is being killed and nobody do anything.